everybody, welcome to Life with a Side of Autism. I've got something really interesting and timely and a news story to talk about today. But first, I want to give a shout out to Autism Supermoms at Autism Supermoms on Instagram. They're out of Canada. They do great work. They've got a huge following. It's so exciting to see moms and groups of people advocating and fighting for their loved ones with autism. Thank you so much for sharing my recent post, and I'm so excited that we could perhaps collaborate and work together and spread our work and our message at the same time. So thanks again to Autism Supermoms. So today I want to talk about a news story that I just heard about, and it was about a young child, 3 years old, who was kicked off a Southwest Airlines flight because he was not able to wear a mask. What do you think? Let's talk about it. So a friend of mine recently shared a story that was in the news just a couple weeks ago, and it was about a child, a little boy who was 3 years old, and he was on a flight with his mom and his 1-year-old sibling, and they were in Texas, and they were coming home from a weekend of visiting with their dad, and the family was actually removed from the Southwest Airlines flight because the little guy was not able to wear a mask. And Southwest Airlines has a strict policy in place that says all passengers 2 and over must wear a mask. Well, this little guy with autism, who is 3, couldn't wear the mask. Now, he had no problem getting down there. He wasn't wearing a mask. Nobody said anything because he looked like a small child. But on the way home, they actually had backed out of the gate. And because this child wouldn't put on his mask, they actually had to delay the flight, go back to the gate and take him off. And I got kicked out of an Applebee's one time, and I remember what a horrific experience that was and just how humiliating and embarrassing it was. I cannot even imagine just how this family felt. And, just kind of wondering, I think, just for a typical 3-year-old, wearing a mask could, for an extended period of time, for 2 hours, could be really difficult. But for a child with a disability and for a child with autism, a lot of times, they have, just like a lot of sensory things going on. They don't like to be touched. They don't like to, certain pairs of clothing or shoes, but they have to wear a mask, for so long. It could just be really, really difficult. And so just wondering, the CEO of Southwest came out. He was very empathetic. He really, felt bad for the family, but really thought that they have to stick to their policy of if you're 2, you got to wear a mask. And so I guess my thought is, what do you think about that? Personally, I think a 2.5-year-old wearing a mask for a couple hours, a typical 2.5-year-old, I think that's going to be difficult. I think for a child with a disability, or even an older person with a disability, that might be really difficult. And just wondering if there is a way that airlines could have accommodated this family. Like, could he have gone up in the bulkhead? Could he have sat in the back where maybe there were some empty seats available? I do think that we're gonna have to think about this. This is not gonna be the last time we hear about a person with autism struggling to wear a mask. Now, in Little Star, we are always working with the kids on wearing a mask. It's difficult, but we're working with them. It takes some time, and we will get them there, but it's gonna take a while. It's not in our culture right now where, kids like, you gotta wear shoes, like this is gonna take some time. So just what are your thoughts? Do you think that, the family should have been escorted off the plane and not allowed to fly? Do you think that some of the major airlines should start making, accommodations for people with disabilities? What are your thoughts? I sat next to a person one time who had a pig on a plane. Yes, like a little pot-belly pig. And I didn't have a choice. So I'm just saying there's lots of stuff going on airplanes. There's lots of stuff that we are all, getting used to and accommodating other people's for, their special needs. How about young children with autism? I think another just interesting aspect of this story is like, where's the common sense? You know, it's a 3-year-old child with autism or without autism. If the child had worn his mask and the plane had taken off and then in mid-flight he took his mask off, would they have turned the plane around and you know, landed it? Like, I don't think so. I think they would have, you know, kept the plane in the air. I think if any, you know, young child took his mask off mid-flight, it probably wouldn't have been a problem. But, you know, I know that there's rules and, you know, we have to follow rules, but I think sometimes we have to really make sure that we're making rules that really are grounded in science and in common sense. Again, I know a lot of typical 3, 4, and 5-year-olds that would not be able to wear a mask for that long. You know, and I'm kind of sad that this is Southwest Airlines because, you know, I've flown Southwest for a long time. I have really nice feelings about Southwest. They're so fun, they're so family friendly, and you know, they're so big on customer service. And at that moment couldn't make a decision and say, yes, here's clearly a child who's struggling with a disability. I think we're gonna be okay. That couldn't, you know, couldn't just make that decision that said, nope, this is the rule. I think we need to look at that. If you are a Southwest airline flyer, will this change your thoughts about Southwest? Now, personally, when my son Brad travels, we always put him on Delta Airlines, and we put him on Delta Airlines because Delta has a nonstop from Indianapolis to where he goes to visit his dad. So there's no other nonstop, so we put him on Delta. And I have to say, Delta has always been so kind and wonderful to him. They put him on the plane first. They always make sure he has all the snacks that he wants. They are just been so wonderful and accommodating to work with. I can't say anything, you know, nicer about Delta Airlines. And again, it just kind of saddens me that, you know, that this family was put through this and just humiliated because they have a child with autism. And I would like to see, are they removing other families from planes because their children will not wear a mask and the kids don't have autism? I haven't seen a story yet like that yet too. So, you know, is there maybe some discrimination going on here? I don't know. I'm just asking the questions. I mean, everybody's aware of autism. Southwest is aware of autism. So this, I think, maybe pulls into the autism acceptance. You know, does Southwest Airlines and do other airlines, do they have an autism policy? Do they have a policy about how to handle, how to work with, you know, individuals with autism if they, you know, are maybe yelling during the flight, or if they, you know, just get a little upset and sometimes stand up when they're not supposed to stand up? Are they aware? Are they accepting of, okay, this is this person, we're gonna work with this family, we're gonna, you know this child's limitations, and it's gonna be okay. We're not gonna, you know, turn the plane around and humiliate this family. So I think it's a really unique opportunity for Southwest to really get some, you know, autism consultants in there and get some autism training in there and really know, you know, how do we handle this, because, you know, there's more and more kids with autism. They're growing up, they're flying, you know, people with autism travel, their families travel. They need to be ready for this. And if this is how they are going to handle, you know, a child with autism, you know, this is unfortunate and it's not going to look good for the airline. Now, saying that, I am sure there have been thousands and thousands of people who have flown Southwest Airlines with a child with autism that have had wonderful experiences. Like, I'm not, you know, saying that this is the only experience that was bad. I'm sure that there's been great experiences. I know a family that flies Southwest with a young adult with autism, as well as a service dog for the child. And they always have great experiences on Delta. But I think, you know, as we start getting into, you know, some of the kids with a little bit more extreme behaviors that are a little bit younger, you know, I think they need to have a clear autism policy, and they need to have some really good autism training for their staff, for their pilots, for the flight attendants who are working those airlines, for the gate agents as well. So tell me what you think. If you were on that flight, would you have felt like, yes, that child should have been removed? Would you have felt like, no, they should have kind of given this child a pass? Put it in the comments below. Let's talk about it. I want to hear what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share below. Let's talk. And thank you so much for spending some time with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I hope you have a great day.